Yo guys, what's going on? This is Yorkie Man here and welcome back to another episode of this Football Manager 2020 save here with FC Twente. And as you can see, I've gone a little bit further than I was supposed to go. I just felt like at the end of the season, there was no point breaking this up into 2 episodes and we might as well just break it to 1. Now, I would have brought you an earlier game if this hadn't gone absolutely down to the wire. So I'm going to bring you the game against Sparta today, a game in which we need to win and they are woeful. So that bodes well for us. We were second for a brief period of time, but you could see PSV on 64 points, Feyenoord on 63 points, ourselves on 62 points. AZ are on 59 points. They can close the gap. If we don't pick up any points today, they would leapfrog us. I would have to do the European playoffs. Once again, no. That is not what we want. But on the plus side, if there is a plus side, Feyenoord won the cup. So if we finish 4th, we get European football, basically. I just wanted 3rd, though. We've been very good this year, although we have hit a little bit, and it's really frustrating because we've lost 5 games all season, but you'll kind of see what's put us in the position where we are when we go through the fixtures now. Right, so since the last game against Feyenoord, we beat Heerenveen 2-1, which was great, and then got absolutely destroyed by them the second time of asking. They just ripped me apart. Everything we did, just nothing worked. Absolutely nothing worked, and they destroyed us. We then beat Vitesse 1-0, and then this is the run that has probably led us. This right here is probably the reason that we're even in this battle right now. The PSV draw, obviously, is fantastic. Great result for us. I'm more than happy with that. But the problem is we drew against Groningen, Heracles, and Zwolle. Now, maybe the draw against Groningen is okay, but against Heracles, a struggling side, and Zwolle, just not good enough. And if we'd have won those 2 games, we'd be quite comfortably in 2nd. Which is crazy when you think about it. Quite comfortably we would be in 2nd, but unfortunately we've just struggled to pick up the points, and we've kind of gone on a run where we struggled to score. We couldn't score against Groningen, we couldn't score against PSV, we couldn't score against Zwolle, and as you can see here, we couldn't score against AZ and we couldn't score against Fortuna Sittard. Now the AZ game, we were very much in it. It was a very close game. Just couldn't get a goal. Now, we do have quite a few injuries, which may be impacting how well the team's playing. So I have to think about that. There's quite a lot of key player injuries, actually, if we're being 100% honest. In my eyes, key player. I don't know why I pointed at my mouth then. I'm a moron. Key player injuries, which has been pretty frustrating for us. We did beat Excelsior, though, in that run. Vasquez getting the goal. But again, it's just like a snatch and grab. We get 1 goal and then just sit on it. And the team has played very well. We've not really conceded much, we've done well at not conceding much for the last, few games, but just very much frustrating. Very, 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 very much frustrating. But we're going to get in today's game because then we're going to do all the end of season stuff. We're going to get through all the awards and hopefully celebrate the fact that we've got European football. Now, let's remember today, depending on how results go, we could still actually finish 2nd. That's not done and dusted yet. We're only 2 points off 2nd. The key here is finish 4th. Absolutely, just finish 4th. And then there's no knockouts. We don't have this European drama. And we can just, we can move forward with our lives with European football next season at FC Twente. And I'm very happy about that. So this is going to be the team going into today's game. Now, it's a fairly strong side, but as you can see, this is probably where we're having the biggest issues. This is the injury list. We've got Ntembane as well injured here on the bench, and Fernandez has just come back from injury, so is a top, but we didn't really use him. He's not really played, let's be honest, so can't really complain about him being injured. But the key one's that Ethan Laird's injured for a decent amount of time. I knew he was going to miss the end of the season, and Sobol was injured. So it was just kind of like, they're 2 of our keys to the way we play. Is how good our wing-backs are. Now, Ntembane's been okay. He's been good. But Kane Kerr is not the same player as Ethan Laird going forward. He just isn't. And then we've struggled going forward now. We've struggled creatively going forward. I think losing Ethan Laird was a big deal for us. I think it was a big problem. And we've paid for it. We paid for it a tall price. But hopefully today that doesn't matter. We go out there. We get the result we need. Just a draw is what we need, but a victory would be nice, and let's just go and get this win because it's been a while, and then we can kind of just take stock of the team. We can look at the season, it's done and dusted, and look at all the great players we have at the club. Probably at some point actually going to have to start looking at who we're going to move on at the club, hopefully. I'm just a bit nervous about it because I don't want to move anybody on. I like everybody. They're all my friends, but we know that a couple of players are probably going to have to go. But this is important. European football, even Champions League football is on the line here. The key thing, just get a win. An early goal would definitely settle the lads' nerves. I know that, and my nerves. But we will see what happens. We haven't been scoring the goals of recently as Nassi goes close. We need a good performance from someone like him today. Again, we're a very young side, so we do like consistency. I must admit that we do. I mean, that run of draws, although we consistently drew a lot, didn't we? But that run of draws just really wasn't good enough for us. There's been some performers this year as well that have had spots of great performances. Players like Seferosa and Nassi as well, actually. He's had spots of terrible performances as well. Come on, Frank, this is your last game for the club. Oh, Serrano hits the crossbar. It's fine. Recycle the ball. Let's get it back in, boys. I can feel a goal coming. Sparta are in dreadful form. I think if we get one, it will ease the nerves of the lads, to be honest with you. I think that is a thing in the game, and I think we'll calm down a little bit if we get the one. Well, I mean, my woes just can't get any worse, really, can they? Now Kine Kurt is injured, and he's going to have to come off the pitch. Potential thigh injury, so Eric Veltus is going to come on. He's an academy boy. He's not very good. He does have potential, though, I must admit. He does have some potential, but he's not very good right now, and he's going to be thrust into the action, and this is a problem because the wing-back attack is really important for us. If we do get given any finances next year, I think this is really a place we're going to have to strengthen because these injuries cause me far too many issues for my own good. I need better, well, not better, just more wing backs. We've been the better side, but we haven't scored, and that doesn't fill me with no confidence whatsoever. Results are not going our way, but Serrano will take this here. What can he do? We need a good ball in from Serrano, and he's going to lose it instead because, hey ho, why not? And now we're in a bit of trouble, yeah, because they're going to counter attack. Durate is in, and you know that could have been their first shot on goal and a goal, and that would not have surprised me in the slightest. We need to pick up the pace here as they go close again. We really need to pick up the pace. Our ex-centre-back there. I'm not finding our performance improving here, actually. I'm finding it going the other way. I'm finding that we're playing worse now at this stage. I might change some stuff up. Now, this formation has worked well for us all season, but I think when you don't have the wing-backs, I just think it hampers you. Is that going to be a penalty, though? This could be key for us in the race for European football, but we need to slot it in the back of the net, and I believe it's going to be Espinosa's going to be given the opportunity. It could be his last goal for the club, and it is a goal for the club. 1-0 FC Twente. I don't really think we need to see this penalty back. I think he slots it in very well, and I'm more than happy. I'm elated. This is fantastic. Right, so at half-time, that does leave us in a good position. What also helps us is the fact that Feyenoord are drawing with Utrecht, which is great, and AZ and PSV are playing each other, so that's worked in my favour as well. So I've actually hopped up to third. I mean, if we win this game, what would be nice is if AZ won, because then we'd actually get second place, which would be, it'd just be ridiculous. And by no stretch of the imagination, by the way, believing that this is done yet. It's way too tight. I mean, if we have better goal difference, look at the goal difference, though. For most teams' goal difference is miles above ours because we just score. We score what we need usually to win and then just sit on it. It's fine. We've scored the goal we needed. Just take it easy now. Easy peasy. I might change the... we've moved second. Oh, boys. We've actually moved second. It would have been nice to have got another goal there. AZ have scored. Although that's not great for us if we concede now, it's great for while it lasts because we're actually second in the league. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. I've not been in this position so far in this save. This is fantastic. Vasquez, though, will pick up the ball. He's had an okay season. There's a few players that have had okay seasons but not great seasons, so I'm probably going to have to look at that in the off-season because we need to manage the players who stays, really, and I want everyone to stay who is young. Nassi is in, and he can't score, though. He can never score. When he gets put in that position, he just doesn't score, and it's very frustrating. Well, this is not what I want to see. Good ball in. I always panic when they're on the attack. I probably shouldn't, but it's just ingrained into me on Football Manager that you can play an unbelievable match, be the better side by a country mile, and still concede to some terrible defensive mistake. that we are definitely capable of doing. I might make some changes. I might make some tactical changes as well. I think I am going to, because the game's evened out a little bit now, but let's make the subs first. All right, guys, so the changes are made now as we go to make a mistake. Don't do that again. We've brought on Sup. We've brought on Fernandez. I think they're good moves for us. Fernandez has had a fairly decent season, and Sup has had a good season as well, but he's not scored enough, and sometimes when he gets through, just exactly like that, literally pinpoint every time like that. He just doesn't put it in the back of the net, and it's a real issue for us, I think, with him. He needs to just get maybe a little bit more confident when he's through on goal. We know already that goals it's been our issue this year. With the goal difference, you can tell we've got a goal difference of a mid-table team, not a goal difference of a team that should be sat where we are in the league. As Nasser Univar takes that ball there, so it really does hinder us. That's the problem. It really does hinder us. And hopefully next year, all the strikers we sign can settle in, as we've just put ourselves in a tremendously terrible position here. We got lucky there. We put ourselves in a terrible position there. AZ have managed to go 2 up now against PSV. That is crazy. Go on, Espinosa. Having a pretty decent last game for us, I believe. I just think he will be sold. There's no need to keep him around. We've got a lot of players in and around those positions. Although I suppose a lot of it depends on Busquets. Maybe we'll have a resurgence of Espinosa next season. And I don't think they're going to give me any money from looking at the finances, which we'll take a look at after this. No, I don't think we will be given any money. So maybe Espinosa sticks around for another season. He's still in contract. He's got another year on his contract as well. So maybe we keep him around. As Sup rounds the defender there, that was really good. But then he just didn't seem confident, did he? He didn't have the options either. Veltas, Fernandez, Espinosa nearly scores a second. It would have been beautiful for him to get his a second goal in this match. He's been a very good servant for the club, especially in my first 2 seasons was absolutely key. But I think when we brought in Pantic this year, Singh's been very good. Like, players have just pushed their way into his position, and it's meant he's not really played much. Let's put on the time wasting. Let's see out the game, boys. And hopefully... Well, there's no hopefully about it. We're going to get second place here. This is absolutely ludicrous. I thought after the Fortuna Sittard game, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I didn't think we was going to get second. I thought we would probably finish 4th. But as long as we had European football, I didn't mind. But it looks like we're going to finish second now. It could be a double-edged sword, because if second is Champions League, which it is, I already know that, we don't stand a chance in the Champions League. We don't. We might have stood a chance in Europa League. FC Twente do not stand a chance in the Champions League. So hopefully we could just reap the rewards of the financial gains of being in the Champions League this season. But I think that's pretty much the only bonus we've got, because we're going to be put in a pretty rough position. But that is it, boys. We've managed to finish second in the league. Celebrations are going off everywhere right now, I believe. Probably not. Although this is not a historic moment, but it's a great moment for the club after seeing relegation and 3 seasons later after promotion. We're second in the league. We're going to find ourselves in Champions League football. We were the best of all we bettered PSV this season. We've got a great young squad. The team's looking very good. It's an exciting future as well for FC Twente. But this is one step in the right direction for us, and that's Champions League football. Crazy, because I thought it'd be Europa League next. It'd be a slow progression, but Champions League, here we come. We just need to rectify those draws next season. Far too many of them. I don't know what we do to get rid of them as well, which is a bit of a frustration, but we need to, because, again, against Spa today, it was simply a set piece. It was a penalty that got us the goal. I don't know if we'd have scored without the penalty. Right, so we're already going to receive 7.16 million for getting the Champions League places. So let's look at those finances like I told you. Now, they're looking a little bit healthier now, aren't they? They've moved up a bit, but because we were spending way above our means, we were spending as if we were already in the Champions League. I believe at least for a Dutch club of our stature, we were already spending as if we was in the Champions League. So now maybe it will pay dividends, because we do have a fairly big squad. We don't have a fairly big squad. We've got a massive squad. but a few players are going to have to leave this year. But as long as we keep all the great young players that we've got, all the great young players that we're producing now at the club as well coming through, but we've got some real stars out there that are now going to get Champions League football. Although I do believe we've got to pass some qualification, so I am bigging this up way too much. If we don't pass that qualification, we might be a Champions League club. We might be a Europa League club, though, so I'll take that. Right, guys, so after taking forever and a day, we finally get to the end of the season stuff, and the real interesting thing here, guys, is I found it really crazy, but AZ didn't even get European football. This is my problem with the way the playoff works, in my opinion. AZ definitely deserved it, but didn't get it. They lost out to Groningen. They actually got knocked out in the first round by Den Haag. But let's do end of season awards. There's no surprise. Again, Ethan Laird is the player of the season. Second, though, is Mature, and I completely agree with that. Pantic got goal of the season. Mature was signing of the season. Young player of the season was Ethan Laird. I mean, it's just not a surprise. They're two of the best and the key players that we have at the club. Good at season review. I mean, there's nothing else to be said than it was fantastic. Nearly 95% full on the average attendance. I think that's pretty decent. We will look at the club vision stuff, but I'm not really too fussed with it in the end of season meeting. What I want is the budgets, but they've not given me the budgets, which is really surprising. I'm assuming this is it. I'm assuming this is going to be the budgets for next season, because although they've not set them, these are pretty much along the lines of new budgets. They're not the same as what we had before the end of the season. So I think we're going to go with that. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I will see you at the start of season 4, where we've got some Champions League football, guys. We've got some Champions League football now. It's going to be qualifications. I don't know if we'll get through the qualifications. I have no idea what's going to happen whatsoever. And I don't know who we're going to sell, but we're going to try and keep the core of this team together. We're certainly going to be keeping the youth, unless some real mega bucks bids come in. They'll be sticking around. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all watching this series. I appreciate the support as per usual. I will see you at the start of season 4, where we keep on our journey with FC Twente, and hopefully, we reach the group stages of the Champions League. That would be an amazing achievement for the club and financially extremely beneficial.